Visit tcgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your first purchase with TCG Center 5 code. How's it going, guys? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at a deck for the standard format, and this is the Decidueye and Umbreon-GX and Espeon-GX. So, what's very interesting about it? Definitely the ability, a feeder arrow, which allows you to put 2 damage counters once per turn to one of your opponent's Pokemons in play. Also, Umbreon-GX for single grass energy will allows us to take any 3 cards from our discard pile and bring them back into our hand. But we're probably not going to use Umbreon-GX that often, maybe once in 7 or 8 games, depend on the situation. The real GX attack we really want to use is going to be either way the White GX or a Dark Gold GX, just because this is the bench snipe deck. So what that means that you can actually snipe with Feeder Arrow and with Shadow Bullet, and also with the White GX your opponent benched Pokemons and play without too many problems. Also, Espeon-GX can counter Mega Mewtwo with the Psybeam, and with the Psy he can just simply one-hit knock out Mega Mewtwo if there's just a single double course energy attached to it, for example. On the other side, Umbreon-GX Shadow Bullet can go for 92 active and 30 to 1 of benched Pokemons, which means that with Shadow Bullet and the 2 Decidueyes for 2 turns, we can simply take double knockout in theory against Shaymin-EX in play. Also, Dark Gold GX can discard up to 2 energies from opponent's Pokemon's play, which is also pretty sick. 21 Pokemon, 28 trainer cards, and 11 energies. So I'm running 4 Eevees with the Energy Evolution and 2 copies of Umbreon and 2 copies of Espeon-GX as the main attacker. Depending on the situation, game type, and the game strategy of our opponent, we're probably going to start with Espeon or Umbreon and use Psybeam or Strafe. On the other side, running also 2 copies of Shaymin just for the setup, and 4 3-3 line of Rowlet, Dartrix, and Decidueye. And for the situational options, we have Jirachi with the Stardust, who can actually help us to discard special energy from our opponent's Pokemons in play, and we can simply buy a turn with Jirachi. Item cards. I'm running 6 searching cards for the Pokemons. 2 of them are going to be Level Ball, and 4 of them are just Ultra Balls. Ultra Ball overall can search a deck for any Pokemon, but with the Level Ball, I can simply search a deck for the Rowlet, Dartrix, Jirachi, and Eevee. Much better than Timer Ball in my opinion, because Timer Ball is a 50-50 card. If you flip tails on the coin flip, you're not gonna get nothing. If you flip 1 heads, 1 tails, you can search the CGI, which is pretty cool, but still, I don't like it because it's flip a coin, and I really want to have the best consistency that I can get. Also 1 copy of Super Rod, simply because I'm not running Revitalizer, and sometimes Super Rod can help a lot, especially if I can recycle my evolutions or basic energy cards, because we really need them. Overall, Revitalizer can be better sometimes, because with Revitalizer we can just scoop Dartrix and the CGI and put them into hand, and then simply evolve if there's Forest of Giant Plants in play. But hey, trust me, Super Rod can also be good, because we can get, again, Jirachi, we can get basic energies, we can also get evolutions, so that's an important thing here. 4 Trainers Mails, 4 Ultra Balls, and 4 VE Seekers, as always, as usual. If you really don't feel comfortable, you can cut 1 Trainer's Mail in extra 1 N, or maybe for that Revitalizer is just up to you, but I feel comfortable playing just 2 copies of N as always. 4 copies of Forest of Giant Plants as the main stadium. We really need to have stadium to counter our opponent's stadium, of course, but also to be able to set up those CGIs and play as fast as we can. 1 Lysandre, 2 copies of N, also 1 copy of Olympia, just because we really want to have switch option, but also 30 damage heal is pretty cool. Same as for Professor Sycamore for the main draw support. Discard hand, draw 7 cards, pretty much standard Sycamore effect. I also run 1 copy of Float Stone just because I really like it. Having one Float Stone to the CGI can always be good, because I can sometimes use a strafe, knocking out my opponent, switching down to the CGI with 240 HP, absorbing some pressure from opponent attacks, and then simply just Float Stone down to the Umbreon, or either way Jirachi or Espeon, whatever I need in that situation, and start attack back. 11 energies, 4 of them are going to be double course energies, 3 Psychic, 1 Grass, and 3 Darkness energies, so 11 in total. Overall, I really like the deck. I play a lot with it, and it works pretty good, to be honest. It's also pretty consistent, so I also like that. If you can get to the Decidueye-GX turn 1 and play with 1 Umbreon or Espeon, you're good to go, because turn 2 you're probably gonna strike for the 1 knockout against one of your opponent Pokemons in play, which is just so powerful. Even if you don't get good start in a mid to late game, you can still recover from nowhere, sniping your opponent benched Pokemons, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking for any of these cards, you can find them on tcgcastle.com with TCG Center 5 code. You can also get 5% discount on purchase, so make sure to check my video description for all instructions you really need to know. So let's do some game tests to see this deck in action, so see you in the game. Alright, so looking at the opening hand, there's no basic Pokemon in it, but I wish there was at least 1 Eevee, so I can have that turn 1 Umbreon, so I can also pick 2 Rowlets with my Level Balls, and maybe with the Trainers Mail find Sycamore or something like Ultra Ball. So let's just grab 7 new cards and see what we can get. Alright, so starting with the Rowlet. Of course, you don't want to start with the Rowlet, you want really to open the game with the Eevee or even with Jirachi, but it's okay. Probably I'm just gonna attach double course energy and Sycamore for something like 7. Dartrix EX on the other side, so that's gonna be Turbo Dartrix. And the good thing about this deck is definitely Espeon Psybeam, who can actually confuse your opponent active Pokemon and try to buy a couple turns. That's always something good. So that's a Trainer's Mail for 1 Silent Lab. If there's going to be Silent Lab in play, of course, I'm not going to be able to set up my Shaymins, but not a big deal. Especially if you can simply get your Forest of Giant plants and put it into play. So that was a Sycamore for 7. More than that, 2 copies of Eevees sitting in my hand. I'm gonna be knocked out for sure, so I will just retreat down to one of my Eevees and keep my Rowlet in play. But overall, that's gonna be it. Overall, that's gonna be it. So far, not the best start, but still. Knockout against Eevee, it's gonna be like 99%. After that, I'm gonna just play my hand. I wish I can top deck something like Forest of Giant Plants, so I can simply promote my Eevee in the front and maybe even evolve into Umbreon. So I can attack with Strife for like 30. Always good to have something like that. Overall, just 1 Dark Pulse for my opponent, and that's gonna be 6 damage counters for my Eevee, and of course, knockout. Alright, never mind for that. Time for Eevee, and time for M. Everything can happen, that's the problem. Even if well, I'm not gonna take a risk. I will just attach 1 Darkness Energy and for like 6, just in case if I pull Ultra Ball, I can always search my deck for something like an Umbreon. Well, that didn't happen, but at least I have Forest of Giant Plant sitting in my hand and Trainer's Mail, so maybe I can find right now that Ultra Ball. Nope, just Professor Sycamore, so I'm gonna try to find more resources with that Shaymin-EX. 3 extra cards for me. There is Ultra Ball, however. I'm gonna play that Ultra Ball for Lysandre and for Forest of the Giant Plant, to be honest. And this is just gonna be Ultra Ball for Dartrix. You wouldn't believe me, but I'm gonna use that Dartrix here and right now. So I can simply evolve my Eevee into the Espeon. I know I'm not going to be able to attack with the Espeon, I know I'm going to take a couple damage counters with him, but hey, it's better to have the CGI in play instead of just Umbreon hitting for 30 with the Strafe, in my opinion for now. Just one Psych Energy will work fine for me, especially because I can simply confuse my opponent Darkrai, and that's just another Dark Pulse for 70. So far, not good for my opponent. Let's just keep going on with the Feeder Arrow. One double Course Energy attachment and one Sycamore for 7. I could even Sky Return my Shaymin in this case. I don't know why I even decide not to do it. So one Level Ball. Okay. More than that, I can maybe just switch down to my Jirachi because I'm not seeing a single special energy for my opponent, so we'll better keep my Espeon-GX sitting on the bench for later. So far, not the best start for me, I can definitely tell that, but at least I'm gonna have that Umbreon for next turn. I also have Espeon. But also Grass Energy can help me to go with the Razor Leaf for something like 90. Well, right now with Enhanced Hammer, that's not gonna happen. There is one Ultra Ball for my opponent, and it's Hoopa EX. Okay. So right now, Hoopa can search deck for up to 3 EX Pokemons. So not sure if there's gonna be a couple Giratinas maybe in my opponent deck. I'm definitely gonna find that out. However, I just decided to promote my Jirachi in the active position instead of just absorbing more damage counters with my Espeon. But I also feel Espeon is going to be much more important for late game, so one Darkrai and one Shaymin-EX. Alright, so no sign of the Giratina for my opponent. Okay. Maybe scooping up my Shaymin would be better option. But okay, cannot return my move, so my opponent will get one more prize here with the knockout from that Dark Pulse. And after that, oh, there's a Lysandre, even worse, that's gonna be Lysandre to my Espeon. Oh, the CGI, interesting. 90, what's gonna be top deck in this case? It's gonna be a double Course Energy as a top deck. Well, since there's gonna be a double Course Energy, I can do something like this. I can play my V Seeker, and I can use the effect of the Olympia. I can switch the CGI down to my Shaymin, and I can still use the Sky Return. So with the Sky Return I can put 3 more damage counters to his Darkrai, and again promote my Jirachi in the active spot. Since the Jirachi is just one prize trade instead of the 2, I think it's much better to do something like that. On the other side, next turn I can just set up my Shaymin or just decide to go with my Umbreon in the front. It's kind of hard to speak and tell right now, just because I would really love to see my Espeon in action with that Psy Beam. But on the other side, I'm not sure if my opponent maybe have access to Escape Rope. Because with Escape Rope he can simply escape from the special condition. So there's a V-Seeker, and it's going to be a Lysandre. Right now he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 110 damage counters available, and of course he wants to get that CGI. So, 110. Alright, let's see what we can find with the Trainers Mail. Trainers Mail for Ultra Ball. I don't know why, but I prefer much more that V-Seeker. Of course, it's going to be a V-Seeker for Olympia. and it's gonna be down to my Umbreon. Then I will try to set up with my Shaymin for 3. And with the setup for 3, I'm gonna get a Trainer's Mail and another Ultra Ball. And one more Ultra Ball. Speaking about those Ultra Balls, let's just play Sycamore and Darkness Energy for one more Rowlet. It will be important to get second Decidueye in play, of course. So with the Strife, I can strike for 30 and run down to my bench, which means next turn I will have available knockout with my Shadow Bullet. And I hope my opponent right now will not have the Seeker or second Lysandre available in his hand for my Decidueye and for the knockout against him. So there's a third VE Seeker in a row. Well, that's kind of impressed. That's kind of impressed, to be honest. But okay, he wastes like 3 copies of VE Seekers. This is gonna be the knockout against the Decidueye, no doubt about it. But right now, I can simply attack for 90 with my Shadow Bullet, and that's gonna be more than enough for the knockout against his Darkrai. But the most important thing is that I can simply turn after that, use my Umbreon GX, and even remove 2 energies from his next Darkrai. So there's another Rowlet. It's gonna be Ultra Ball for Sycamore and 1 Psychic Energy. Of course, it's gonna be for Dartrix. Right now, I can simply put another Decidueye in play, and that's very, very important. 2 damage counters can go down to Shaymin. And of course, Shadow Bullet. 3 more damage counters goes down to Shaymin. Alright, so that's Dartrix and a Float Stone. Well, that's perfect. I wish I can find maybe another Dartrix. I already waste 4 copies of VE Seekers, and that's very dangerous. I only have 6 cards, however, available. So, Darkrai, and there's a Super Rod. Alright, but I'd really love to see 3 copies of VE Seekers in my opponent discard pile. He have plenty of resources left. I only have 6 cards available, but pretty much 2 Decidueyes are going to be more than enough for the victory. Actually, second Decidueye is going to be more than enough for the victory. So there's Ultra Ball. It might be for another Shaymin-EX. He just decided to discard Escape Rope, so yeah, he had an Escape Rope, which means I will definitely need somehow to charge up my Espeon for that Decidueye-GX. But I can also use just Shadow Bullet, not Shadow Bullet, but Umbreon-GX and disable his Darkrays and prevent them from being able to attack for like a turn maybe. That can be more than enough to set up my Espeon, but in that case I simply cannot use my Decidueye-GX. So there's another Silent Lab. Is there maybe any more Stadium left? Yes, I only have 1 more available, so 9 damage counters. Oh, what a nice top deck. What a nice top deck that was. So 2 damage counters will go down to Shaymin. I'm probably gonna just Strife here and... No, I can just strike actually for Shadow Bullet because I'm gonna have victory next turn with my Espeon. So striking for 90 and putting 3 damage counters to his Shaymin. Only Pearl City can actually help my opponent to win this matchup because next turn I'm gonna use a Decidueye-GX and spread 10 damage counters around the board. So I also have that Decidueye for 2 damage counters. There is 110, that's the knockout. So time for my Espeon. And time to finish the game with the Feather Arrow. So 2 damage counters to his Shaymin, and right now I can use simply my Decidueye-GX, and I can put 10 damage counters to his Pokemons in play. So I can knock out his Shaymin, and I can knock out his other Shaymin with Decidueye-GX, and that's gonna be victory. So yeah, plenty of different options you have available when you play this deck. and that's just amazing how good and how powerful it is. That's pretty much the deck that can actually snipe your opponent and bench Pokemons without too many problems. Even if your opponent can start pretty good and pretty well and pretty hard and strong against you on your turn 1, you can still recover pretty easily in a mid to late game, especially because you have that Decidueye-GX who can actually put 10 damage counters to any of your opponent Pokemons in any way you like in play. Also the CGI can simply use the feeder arrow, so you can basically put 2 damage counters to your opponent Pokemons in play, but still Jirachi can also help a lot with the Stardust because he can simply remove the special energies and preventing your opponent from being able to attack for like a turn. I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. If you have any questions, as always, don't forget to leave comments below. So stay tuned for more videos. Have a nice day and goodbye.